family.
Oh, we live. What?
So she don't know we live on YouTube. We about to go live on Facebook
We live.
Here we go.
I need to know this. Hey guys.
Here we go for Facebook Live. Hey family, what's going on tonight? We are excited to be with you as always. My wife is just extremely, she has a lot in her mind right now that she wants to discuss, to say the least. I have a lot in my mind, but she has a lot in her mind that she has. So Jay, I'm gonna give it to you just to let you get started.
Well, first of all, guys, hey, we back, right? We back. We missed you guys last week. We was laying on somebody's beach somewhere, relaxing and having fun. But we're back now, and so I sure wish I knew how to tag people this way. I don't know how to tag people, y'all. Y'all saw tagging some people off in here. Well, on Facebook, not YouTube, I guess. Anyways, guys, listen. Tonight we're gonna talk about communication. I feel like we've been on just communication in general for a while now, whether it's a spousal relation, communication, or just, family, friends, whatever it is. Today, I want to talk about this TikTok I saw that's been going viral around Facebook. And it's about this little girl who is just kind of communicating to a panel of people how, as a child, depending on what their parent or parental figure says to them, it really starts dictating and kind of determining and shaping how they think, feel, and believe. And a lot of times, like adults, when you say things, to them, they just, they take it and they process it one way. And, I'm just interested in the fact that I think it's hard even as adults, like that when you have conversations with people that, because I find myself doing this, like I'm talking to somebody and I have to say, I don't know how you meant for me to take that, but this is how I got it. And that actually came with maturity. I think, like growing up, and even into my adult days, somebody used to say something to me, and however it landed, with me, is however I took it, right? But I think as I grew up and as I matured as a woman and just into Christianity as well, I started realizing that just because I took it one way doesn't mean that's the way they meant it. And so I know as an adult to ask the second question of like, hey, I don't know if this is what you meant, but let me tell you what I got from it. And that then gives the next person, somebody, an opportunity, a space, an environment for you to be able to tell me, like, oh no, that's not what I meant, or yeah, that is what I meant. And then we can kind of have a better conversation, and then I walk away from the conversation with like, I knew what you meant. And it's not like something that this is what it meant to me, but it's like, this is literally what it meant. And I think that that's hard as an adult. We have adults right now who have conversations with people, and however somebody says something to you, that's how you take it and you run with it. And it may be years later before you realize, oh, that's not even what they meant, or that's not how, they wanted that to land or whatever. And so I think that when we start asking or wanting kids to listen to the things that we say, and hopefully they take it the way it needs to be took, we can't really, I don't think that we can take that road. I think we need to communicate better. When you verbally say something to somebody, or even nonverbal, all of it is communication, right? But I think we need to have more conversations with our kids to help bridge gaps, to help put meanings behind whatever it is that we said to them. And don't let it just land however it is that young person feel like it should have landed with them. Because I know that it happens as adults. Surely it happens as kids, as a youth, right? And I just think that we need to communicate better with our kids, but just people in general. But I know it comes with maturity. But we're talking about this certain TikTok, and I hope everybody has actually saw it. I've been seeing it just go viral. But that's what I want to talk about tonight. Is just, I do think she had a lot of good points in the sense of like, we need to communicate better. And even if it's not communicating, quote unquote, better, it's communicating more. It's making sure that things land the way they should, and not however this youth feel like it should have landed with them.
Oh, and in the TikTok, what I got out of it is, again, some people may not have valued what she said just based off how they were raised. So I was raised in a family like, I'm gonna do what my mom and daddy say. I don't care what the meaning is behind it. I'm just gonna do what they ask for me to do. And so I was telling Jazz, we live in an age, I see so many kids there, they get so much information, they live in a world that's faster than what I lived in, 10 years ago when I was 25 years ago when I was a teen, man. I'm
telling your age, huh?
And so in that, kids get so much information faster, they're processing things, they're seeing more things, they're exposed to more things. And so when you get exposed to more things, you have to analyze it and decipher it for the kids. Because if you just go along and say, do what I say, just do what I say, with no meaning, sometimes they'll look at another, we'll say family, and they'll start seeing that how this child is being treated. And they see that maybe my parents don't value what I say. Their parents are actually listening to what they say. Not meaning that they're changing the decision of what they're saying or what they're going to do, but they're listening and they're saying, okay, let me process. One of your friends said this, man, it was so awesome when she said it. She said, there's so much on TV now. It's so commercialized, so many things that are thrown at kids. They could be watching a football game, and then the next thing you know, there'll be a commercial where it's not the viewpoint that we believe in. And so you then have to explain to them the viewpoints that we believe on, the foundation that we believe on, not just taking it and making up whatever meaning that they want to in their mind, and parents not taking the time to explain to them, and then 10 years down the line, you're wondering why they're having issues in this particular area because you didn't take time out. You just say, do what I say. And sometimes that's not going to be fulfilling to the student, to the child in their mind, because they're making up their own creation, their own viewpoint in their mind. And if you don't take time out, their future is basically going to mature or going to fertilize basically itself into whatever they have thought it to be if the parent doesn't take time out to really explain.
Yeah, I think it's so true. One of the points that the young lady made on this TikTok was that, like, a lot of parents, we say things like, dude, you don't pay no bills at this house. You know, like, you don't, like, it makes them feel like that as a parent, you must be more valuable than I am as a kid. And for me, that is the young mind, you know, the immaturity, you know, really kind of setting in and not understanding what that parent is actually saying at that point. And then again, I think there is a parental piece to that, you know, that you have to just communicate with your kids better. We have to, like, you can't make that blank statement and then just let that land, because some kids are going to take that like, oh, you trying to say I'm not valuable. You trying to say I'm not important. You trying to say this, you trying to say that. And you have other kids who may take it another way, you know. And so I am just learning, guys, and y'all can just agree or disagree, but I'm learning just period in my life that you cannot just say things to people and expect for them to get the meaning you wanted them to get out of it. We really have to sit back and ask that additional question. On one end of it, ask the additional question like, hey, you know what, this is what it meant to me. Is that what you were meaning to say? And then on the other end, knowing not to make blankets, you know, like those statements like that without furtherly talking, you know, like communicating about it. One of the other things she said was, you know, her parents say stuff like, you know, the life I had to give up, you know, for you to have the life that you have. And it's like, some people look at that, some kids look at that and they like, oh, they feel, you know, like my parents are resenting me, or, you know, I can't wait till I get out this house so you can go back to doing whatever it is that you was doing then. And, you know, they take this negative meaning from it. Some kids may say, man, my parents must really love me. You know, like they stopped doing all of this or that, or they gave this up for me. Everybody is just so different. And I think that we need to stop thinking that everybody's the same. We need to stop thinking that, like, what we said was very clear and they should have got what we got when we said it. No, like, you have to stop and have an extra conversation. And just like a great example for us, you know, Graham told us the other day, you know, he was asking a question about like, why y'all didn't consult, you know, why y'all didn't tell me, you know, when this was happening? And because he felt a certain type of way about it, we didn't even think, let's ask Graham about none of this, you know, and so it even, like, let us take a step back and say, well, Graham, why is it that you feel that this shouldn't have happened that way? And to let him tell us, oh, well, because of this, this, and this. And then as parents, we can say, oh, let's bridge the gap, baby. That's not, you know, the things that you're thinking are gonna happen, that's not gonna happen. And we can shape how it lands with him. And I think that we need to do that as parents, guys. And that's the encouragement that I want to put out there, is to not take the the mentality of like, just do what I say. But I get it. Like, you know, like you're the adult, you know what I'm saying? Like kids do need to do what you say. But in the same token, we need to understand that these kids, we're molding them, and we have to pay attention to how things land with them. And I don't think we do a good job of that sometimes, of paying attention to how it lands. We say what we say and we move on. And I don't want us to do that. I want to encourage, you know, if you're a parent out there, or in general, if you're in a relationship, you know, whatever it is, to not just on one end, not to hear something and just automatically allow it to mean what it means to you, but maybe say it back to them and say, is this what you're really saying? Because this is what it meant to me. And then on the other end of that, you know, I think that you should really say, I wonder what that meant to them. What did that mean to you when I said that to you? That way that you actually get that understanding, and that you can bridge the gap if there is one.
I love what you said. One key word that I believe that I took from that is shaping them. Just shaping them and molding them into the person that you hope that they become.
Yeah.
I truly believe that community. How many people are really taking the time out is the question. How many people are taking the time out to actually mold and to shape what they want to communicate to the other individual? I believe it goes beyond just a parent and a child. I believe it goes into relationships as well, because sometimes you'll say something like you already stated, and it will mean something totally different than how you receive it. And so Jazz and I really had another conversation tonight that I want to dive into, but she made me bring it down to this one right here. And I'm gonna let her have it tonight. I'm not even gonna go into it, but it's a communication piece, and hopefully I get a chance to bring it out next week. She wanted to mold this conversation. I wanted to take it to another level tonight, but we're gonna keep it right here for Jazz, because everything she doesn't want to discuss, I'm transparent. Whatever goes down in this house, I want everyone to know.
I'm not that transparent, guys.
She's not that transparent, but I do want, but it goes in. I'll give him a little bit. I'm going to give him a little bit of it just because I'm feeling some type of way today. Not in my feelings, but I feel like sharing my feelings.
I tell you, boy, I tell
so
you.
Today it's all about communication. Jazz has some braids in her head from Hawaii. And so she said, Chad, on Thursday, I want you to help me take my braids out. Will you do that? I was like, yes, I will, babe, whatever you need me to do. So today I'm going, I drop Grayson off at school, I go work out, I go to Home Depot because it's Texas and my grass is kind of dead outside. So I got some fertilizer trying to water, grow my grass back. And so while I'm out there fertilizing the grass, communication here. Jazz comes out the front door, she said, Chad, can you help me take my braids out? I thought we had a scheduled time on Thursday to take these braids out, but she communicated to me. I should have took it. I didn't know how to mold my mind around it. I thought Thursday was Thursday and Thursday wasn't Wednesday, but turns out Thursday was Wednesday. And so with that communication, I was like, hey, Jay, let me finish doing this. Give me 35 minutes, because I was going to fertilize the grass and then I was going to go cut the backyard just to make sure before it rains this week, hey, that everything is done. So I came back in. After I did all that, it took me about 42 minutes, not the 35 that I quoted her, which I was off on that. And I was like, hey, I come in and she looking at me sideways like something's going on. Stop me if I ever am going wrong.
I'm not gonna talk about this tonight, so I'm just gonna let them talk, okay, guys?
And so with this, I was like, hey, I come inside, she already started taking out most of her braids. I was like, okay. She looking at me now with the friendly Jazz face that she normally has, because that's what my expectation is. But the communication is. What she told me is, her expectation is, when I asked you to do something, I expect you to stop everything that you're doing and you just come help me. And so the way you communicated to me, I didn't receive it in the same way. You wanted me to stop. It's all about communication. She wanted me to stop everything that I was doing, which was cool. But I was in the midst of something. I was like, hey, this wasn't the time. This wasn't what we talked about. But when she communicated me, her expectation, and I understand it from Jazz now even more so today, is that, hey, I want to feel like I'm more important than anything that you're doing. So if I ask you to do something, stop what you're doing in the midst of what you're doing, and can you come be my number one? And not fertilizing the grass, not cutting the yard. That communication piece, which we had to have after the fact, and I had to realize it. Okay, I should have just stopped fertilizing the yard. I could have did it in the rain on tomorrow. It really didn't matter. But this is the key. You're painting the picture. We're going back to loyalty. painting the picture through your communication of how you expect to be treated and how that other person should understand how you want to be treated. I feel like it's so very important. Go ahead, Jay.
I don't have anything, guys. That's how it went down for the most part. I actually didn't even hear him tell me he need 35 minutes. I didn't hear that. But neither here nor there. I did expect for him to stop and help me. I didn't realize everything that he was doing, though. I get it. I did tell him Thursday, so I actually understand that piece of why he felt that way as well. So,
but it goes down to communication. Yeah. I really feel like the way you communicated to me, I was like, okay, it's clear. For me to get a better understanding is what I needed out of it, though. And what you expect in the relationship always has to be, if you're not a lifelong learner, you should continue learning in a relationship, continue learning in life, continue learning on your job. It's very important that you gain that knowledge. Okay, this is the overall thing. If they're not feeling like this, if I'm not feeling their tank, if I'm not loving them the way they want to be loved, that's all through the communication. It's your communication breakdown today, but now I know. Don't you worry, I know.
You always do a great job.
Days don't even matter, I know.
You always do a great job. But you know, if you want to be so transparent, I mean, I came back with something real good.
Oh, you did come back with something real good.
Okay, give your girl the props. Don't leave that part out, okay?
That's the part we're going to leave out.
Oh, you want to leave that out? Okay, you want to leave that out.
It's a PG-13 show.
Oh, PG-13. Okay, you're right. Anyways, guys, communication is definitely key. But when I saw that thing on TikTok, my nephew sent it to me and was just saying, like if you're a parent, I feel like every parent needs to hear this. And I just wanted to bring it up and talk about it live because I want my nephew to know I heard him. I'm having these conversations at my own house. I encourage you guys to have the conversations at your house. I pray that you share and like this video because we, want everyone to just start having more communication and better communication at home, in relationships, in your family. It really doesn't matter, but just communicating in general.
Let me jump in real quick. I told somebody this at a baby shower. I was like, they asked, what is the one thing that you would tell the future parents of this young boy? And I told them that you need to learn how to love your child in their love language.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I say that because parents, most of the time, kids just want stuff. And as they get older, they don't see the love if they're not a gift-giving type of kid as they get older. And so some of those kids need words of affirmation. They need that quality time. They just need to say that time at the movies together beside each other. Like some kids need that. And so just like you learn your spouses, learn your girlfriend, boyfriend, their love language, it's the same way it goes for a child. Yeah. Because they appreciate it more. Because some kids who seem like they should be loved don't really think that they're loved because they haven't been loved in the way that they desire. You buying kids stuff when they just want to hear, hey, you did a good job. I appreciate you doing X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, absolutely.
Learning their love language. If you have to, some people will throw it in the air and be like, man, my kid is my kid, let them be. No, understanding we are dealing with kids that are intellectually sound and that they have a lot being exposed to them. Learning how to love them specifically, just the way God desires to love you and loves you is the way that he wants you to go out and love individuals just the way they desire to be loved. Because God can do so many things, but he knows you specifically, individually, directly with you to know what makes you feel valued and important. And that's why I just think it's so important that we act like him, like we mimic what he does. Take time out to talk to you, listen, communicate, and so that you can receive the love that you desire or give the love that you desire to give in a certain way.
Yeah, it's so true, guys. Even when you think about just you as an adult and you think about some of the things that you remember in your childhood and you're like, man, I feel like my parents could have done X, Y, and Z better. I want you to really take that into parenthood now. When you're talking to your kids and somebody said on here, how you must provide an explanation. Words mean things, and it's so true, right? And so I just want to just encourage you guys to just think about how when you say things to youth, they don't always land the way that they need to land. And I think that you need to realize that and don't just expect for them to land right. Sometimes you need to break that down. Sometimes you need to show that. Sometimes you need to ask them, when I said this to you, what did that mean to you? Like, what is that? What did that say to you? And just have those conversations. You know, I can think of a lot of times, even with my son Graham, because he's more of my, you know, communication. Like, I'm gonna communicate to you exactly how I feel, and he's one of them. You know, with him, I know. He's a perfect example, let me say, of what lets me know that when you say things to kids, sometimes it doesn't land the way it's supposed to land, right? I asked Graham the other day, and I feel like we should all begin to ask these questions, you know, to our family members or your friends, you know, the people you care about. And I asked him, I said, you know, what can I do to you or do for you that makes you feel like I love you? Like, what is it that I do that makes you feel like I love you? And just to hear the answers and the responses, you know, that he said was just amazing, right? And so I think that, and after I asked him that, for like, even to this day, he's still been using that statement, well, Mom, when you done this, that makes me feel like you don't love me. And I'm like, thank you, Graham, for letting me know that, you know. But yeah, and so he's using it on me, but I'm actually glad he's doing it, because it's letting me know that in his small mind, you know what I mean, or in his immature, his youth mind, what, you know, the things that I'm doing that makes him feel like I don't love him. And so I think that as I've been navigating that with Graham, it's even showing me more that youth just don't see things the way they need to see them all the time. You know, Graham does something he's not supposed to do, and he gets in trouble, and he's like, Mom, you know, like, you're mean. And I'm like, you just done something you wasn't supposed to do, but I'm mean. And so, you know, it's just having to put things into perspective, and I having to tell him that, babe, I'm not mean, you're getting punished because you done X, Y, and Z. And so if you don't do X, Y, and Z, you don't get punished, thus you won't think Mom is mean. Understood? And so, like, we have to have that conversation, and sometimes you think that you can just say that to a kid, like, boom, you get in trouble, you get a pop, you get this, you get that, and it's like, expect for them to understand you got that because of this. And kids are like mad that you done that, thinking, you know, that you mean and you this and you that, and not even connecting the dots to the fact that this happened because of X, Y, and Z. Right. And so just talk up to your children more. Don't just assume they understand something. Talk to them, because I would like to believe that parents have good intentions. You know, I know we do as parents, and so like when Graham busts out and say something about us not loving him, it's like, wait a minute. Hold on, everything needs to stop, because we love you, little boy, you know, and what is it that we need to do for you to be able to see that? And I want all parents to just kind of feel that way. But I
would like to get a challenge out, though, that you gave to us.
Hold on, change the lingo, punish to discipline. Yes, he be getting disciplined, girl, not punished. I agree with that.
They're giving a challenge out to individuals to ask their kids, ask their spouse, what does it look like for me to be loved? What does it look like?
Yeah.
I would love
I think y'all should do that. Take that challenge. Y'all let us know how that go during the week or next week. Y'all let us know how did that work. I think it'd be interesting for you to get some of those answers too.
Yeah, it was very interesting to me. Like when we had this discussion in the car, we had the nephew with us.
We asked my nephew Jaren.
Yeah, we all had just a great conversation on what actually it looks like to be loved. Sometimes, man, it's that loyalty piece. It goes back to you trying to paint a picture and you don't even know what you're supposed to be painting and how you're supposed to paint. It's like you pin the tail on the donkey. Like you trying to figure out X, Y, and Z when you should have just asked. And you could have just went right to the whatever it may be.
Yeah. Yes, I agree. So yeah, that's what we want to encourage you guys. Ask that question. Ask your kids, your loved ones, you know, your friends, what is it that I do that makes you feel loved? Or what can I do that will make you feel loved? And with that, hopefully you'll learn the things that you do that doesn't make them feel loved, right? And so I think with that, you will grow some relationships and definitely better some communications. And that's what we're on, communications. We really just encouraging you guys to have those. And because we're learning in our relationship that the more you communicate, the better your relationship is. And so it's been good, guys. So we want to encourage you guys to grow in that area of communications.
That's real. We love you. Make sure you tune in to us on Sunday morning at 8 a.m. YouTube. We will be there. Jay.
That's it. That's all I got, guys. We love you. We will see you later.